Now the meeting is being recorded. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for taking time to join me this afternoon. My name is Mandisala Kenny. I am from EBSCO Information Services. We are based in South Africa, in Johannesburg. So I will be taking I think what I'm going to do is I am going to mute everyone just for a clear recording at the end of this. But for housekeeping purposes, I would like everyone, if you have any question, you can use the chat box between, I think myself and Dr. Robina will keep an eye on the questions that come in via the chat box, as well as you can use the unmute button, or you raise your hand and I will recognize you, and then you can be able to share your questions or comment with all of us. So for that, as I was saying that my name is Mandisala Kenny, so I'm the one who's going to be facilitating this refresher training this afternoon. And the main aim is to just highlight some of the features and benefits of the EBSCOhost platform that you currently have access to. And what I'm going to share is what databases are you subscribing to, but the focus will be on, on access. Just to touch briefly, because what is most important is that once these databases, the library subscribes to them, everyone who's affiliated to the library should have access to these resources, for their academic programs. In the authentication that we currently have for the university is that we have provided username and password. But now the username and password may not be sustainable because people may forget what is the username, what is the link, what is the password of the institution. So we have aligned to what University of Rwanda is doing by providing your IP authentication. This also allows you to have remote access. What I'm saying then is that when you click on the EBSCO platform under your databases or e-resources, it should be able to take you to the EBSCOhost platform, where then I will start my demonstration. There is someone on the line who is saying that I'm not audible, or they cannot hear. Is it the same case to everybody? Maybe in the show off, you can just write on the chat as well if you can hear, or unmute and let me if you're all experiencing the same problem. Yes, some they can. Oh, okay, now it is okay. Thank you so much for that feedback. Now, but my bigger portion of this demonstration this afternoon will focus on how to perform an academic search. And like I said, it will be focused more on just showcasing the features and benefits of this EBSCOhost platform, what you can do with the advanced searching, with the basic searching, what happens if you know exactly what you are looking for, such as you have the title, the author, the or a publication and ISSN of the journal that you are looking for this information, or you just have a keyword. How then with the keyword search, because it's likely that you will pull out more results, how do you apply the limiters or the filters that are available within the database? What do they mean? So that's what the bulk of my demonstration will focus on. I'll also show you, some of the, the search functionalities to enhance your search experience within EBSCO. And I will also show you how to integrate with reference managers. And this is very important, most especially for research, because people are, when you're performing your research, you need to ensure that you don't plagiarize, and you acknowledge the sources where you've got these the resources from, as well as when you are applying this information within an article of choice into your research paper. There are two types of reference that you need to perform, which is the bibliography as well as your in-text referencing. How do you integrate that within the EBSCOhost platform? And importantly, how do you integrate with learning management portals? And this applies to both the academic staff, which is your lecturers, as well as your students, But with the academic staff, when they are assigning reading material or a prescribed material for their modules, then they need to be, mindful on how to link it properly from EBSCOhost into the learning management portals, or such as Moodle, Blackboard, or Sakai, or anyone that you are using. I think you are using Moodle, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm going to also focus on my EBSCOhost folder, how to create this folder, why is it important, and how to manage it for yourself. Because this then, it gives you as an individual a portal where you can manage your own research, set up your own alerts, save your own searches, and manage your search histories as well. If you have any topic of interest within the EBSCO platform as well, we have a feature where you can set up your notifications. So that means you can curate what type of information that you'd like to be alerted on when we add new content, because we add content on a daily basis. So if you are doing a research on a particular topic, you can perform your search, and then you can set up a notification, and then that will ensure you don't miss out any new added resources that meet your search strategy. And this can happen for both searches as well as the journal publications themselves. And I'm going to close off by showing you the support as well as the help functionalities, or where you can find the user guides as well as tutorials. And this is ideal for both students as well as the library itself, because libraries, if you will conduct trainings for your end users, there's a lot that you can also extract from these tutorials, and they are editable, and you can share these tutorials as is as well with your end users based on, once you've evaluated what you need, and you can also link those to your LibGuide. So I'm just going to show you how to do all of that. As a reminder, before I begin, I've muted everyone, so you are welcome to unmute yourself and ask if you have any questions or comment. And you're also welcome to use the chat box. I am keeping an eye on that as well for any of those questions that may arise as I'm part of this demonstration. Importantly, with everything that I'm going to cover with you this afternoon, I would like to alert you that you do have mobile access, and this also, is another layer for that remote access that we spoke about, because now you can access EBSCOhost on your mobile devices, as well as you can download an EBSCO mobile app. It is available on both your Android as well as your iOS phones. And to authenticate from that public app into University of Rwanda, you need that My EBSCOhost folder that I spoke about. So you need to have your personal account, and that is how that will be a link between the public app and authenticating you back to your own institution. That is how those are the details that you are going to need to authenticate yourself. So at this point, I am going to do a live demonstration. So what you should see now is the EBSCO landing page. So within your institution, once you click on the EBSCOhost, it should take you to this page that I'm demonstrating here. So as you can see, your page is defaulting to advanced search, but you do also have an option of using a basic searching. But there are some other tools on this taskbar that often researchers overlook, and they have some important functionalities as well, such as, let me just explain what all these things mean. On this new search, when you click on the new search, it will clear everything that is on your screen and redirect you back to this landing page. Your subject, this means this is your controlled vocabulary of each and every database that you're subscribing to. As you can see, each database has its own controlled terms or the indexing of the database. Why is this important when you are performing a search? There are certain times when I'm just going to make an example with first-year students. Maybe they're given an assignment and they're just focusing on, the question is they're not exploring what other keywords can I use to find this information that I'm looking for. So using these subject terms, it can also give you that advantage where it will give you the full hierarchy of that keyword. And sometimes it may be, even for us as librarians, we know how to find, curate, and sort out information within the library, but I may not be a specialist in everything, in every subject area that is covered by the university. So sometimes when I'm looking for information where it's a subject that I'm not familiar with, I may just use the subject as well to explore that keyword, and it will also guide you with CNC also references. So there's a lot of reasons why you may start your search by using the subject tab, and to allow you to either broaden your search or to narrow it down by use of the subject heading. So I'm going to demonstrate on this as well, on how then you can perform it. Under your publication, again, with all the databases that you are subscribing to, each and every database has its own portal of journals that form part of this of the content of the database. Why is this important? It may be important if, for instance, you are looking for a specific journal of interest, then you can check here whether it is available as part of these resources. If it is available, what is the coverage? Does it have any embargoes? Do we have full text access? Does it only cover your abstract at your abstract level? So all of these things you'll be able to find here. And in addition, you can also set up your notification. If it's a journal of interest, let's say a lecturer, this is a subject where what you are teaching, and then you can set up a notification so that every time when the new issue of this journal is made available, this information is sent directly into your email address. Your images, you'll be searching under images that are part of the articles themselves. So these could be your illustrations or image, your graphics that are part of the article. Because you subscribe to your business source database, that is why you see company profiles. So this will give you information on the companies that are listed, and information such as the financial status of that company or their revenue, who's in the board of directors, what they do in terms of their services and products that they produce. Under more, this will be your indexing as well as your medical dictionary, because you subscribe to Medline. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. Under your sign in, this now is important to everyone. I recommend that all users, once you log into the University of Rwanda, click on sign in and create your own personal account. And because there are more added benefits where you can manage your own searches, and you can save your articles, you can link articles into your learning management portal or into your reference manager in bulk. If, for instance, you are doing a literature review and there are 15 articles that you've used, instead of like linking these one by one, if you are like under your folder, you can also link those in bulk. Everything that you've saved under your folder sits under this folder here, but it doesn't mean then if you're not signed in, you won't be able to use the folder. You can, but the difference is that the moment you close this browser, all that information that you've saved under your folder will disappear, because this is a session folder, it's not linked to an individual. So that is why it is important then to create your own folder where you store resources for future use if you wish to. Your preferences, then this is where you can change the preferences of how the database looks, and you are changing it for yourself, not for the entire library or the university. It's only for your experience as an end user. If you want to change the language of the database, let's say if I would like to read everything that I've just covered so far in French, then I can change the language here, and then the wording of the database, the body of the platform itself, for a lack of a better word, will be in a language of choice then. At any given time, if you click on the help button, this is where you'll find, our tutorials, frequently asked questions, user guides, and so on. I am going to demonstrate with this as well towards the end of the session. So, as I was saying then, your database is defaulted to an advanced search. What does this mean? So it gives you an ability to add more into your search strategy, and you can also choose under this selector field. You can predefine your search, whether you are searching under your title, your keyword, your author, your journal, or ISSN, and so on, depending on what you already have in part of your search. And here, under these Boolean operators, you can also construct your search in a way where you are excluding some of the information that you may not need. Just to make a demonstration on how this works, let's say I'm doing a search on eating disorders, but I don't want information that has to do with bulimia. So if then I want to exclude anything that has to do with eating disorder, but not this type of eating disorder, and in that case, then I'll select my Boolean operator not, and I can add, more than these three search boxes that are appearing here by clicking on the plus sign. Always remember, the more you add, the lesser, much more focused results that you will extract at the end of your search. And you can always remove these as well if you don't want to use all what is prescribed for you. Now, as I said, on these fields here, you can also predefine to say, are you looking for this information under, do you want eating disorders to appear as part of the title of the resource, or do you want to look under the full text of the article and so on, by just leaving it on the title, on the keyword of the search? And other things, maybe before I click on search. Okay, before I click on search, other things that you'll also notice that there are certain fields that are already pre-selected, like your search mode. Now you are searching under your Boolean phrases, your and or not. But if you want to use any of these, like where you want to pre-select to say, you want to find all my search terms, that means you are using an and. Find any of my search terms, you are using an or. And apply equivalent subjects. So here, if for instance, I was looking for information on global warming, if I'm applying equivalent subjects, the database will also search for information under climate change and so on. So you can predefine these under this page here. But if I leave it as is, these search functionalities, they're still available when you are performing your search. As you can see now, I pulled out over 66,000 results on the search that I was performing. And now if I change this to say, I want this information to appear, like eating disorders to appear as part of my titles, and now my results will be less from that 66,000 by changing to this limiter here, the title. Now I'm looking at 19,000 results. Other things that can also assist you to, to construct your search better. Now also I want information, for instance, if you're looking at this search, I may be looking for information on eating disorders. At this example here, it's also look at what is highlighted there, substance-induced disorders and eating disorders. By applying these parentheses then, what you are instructing the database is to say, give me where eating disorder appears as a keyword or next to each other. And if I apply my search from that 19,000, it's likely that my results would be far lesser as well. As you can see now, I'm looking at 12,000. So there are a lot of different ways on ensuring that you construct a good, research that will populate and give you a much more focused information on what you are looking for. But let's just hang on this 12,000 results, which is still a lot. If you focus on the left-hand side, then there are other additional features that you can use or limiters that you can apply to filter your search even further. One of them is full text. What does this mean? So from these 12,000 results, if I apply full text, I am instructing the database to say, eliminate everything that appears as part of my results that is only an indexing or an abstract or at an abstract level. So now I am looking at only those 4,000 results. And another important limiter is publication date, more especially in the institutions of higher learning, because sometimes lecturers would advise students to say, don't use content that is older than 10 years, or if they want to do a history of something, they would like to start as far back as possible. So this publication slider allows you then to manage, from which dates you would like to view your results from. And it works on both ways, like the slider that I've just demonstrated now, or you can use these boxes here. You can type in your preferred years and enter. So it will also work exactly on the same way. There is a question that someone is asking if we have an EBSCO link under the UR website. I think, yes, you do. So I think what I'm going to do, before we end this session, and with the assistance of Dr. Rubina as well, we will show everyone where then we'll be able to access. Maybe I should do that now. Okay, and this is your library page. I'm not sure exactly where it's sitting, but I think it should sit under someone from the library as well can assist. I see there's e-resources at UR.
Yeah.
Okay.
Proceed with. Dr. Bashir, do you want to assist there?
Oh, then I think under this search and find, there is databases and e-resources. If you click on that link, it should give you a list of all these different databases. Some of the databases that I'm sharing with you, they're already available. There's sorted by subjects. And here it is in alphabetical order. So I think on the next page, you should be able to see EBSCO. There it is, EBSCO Information Services. If you click on that link, then it should take you to the page where I'm viewing this page from. But because I'm not within your network, so it won't give me access. But I think in your cases, it should give you access to the databases that you're subscribed. Dr. Rabina?
This is the big problem.
Okay. Yes, I'm listening.
This is the problem because we did not record the EBSCOhost.
Okay, so if you're also seeing the same page after this session, I am going to send you. I'm going to send a link to Dr. Rabina and an updated link with which will, link to EBSCOhost. It needs to be updated with your, yes. I don't know, with webmaster, and replace the existing link with the one that I'm going to send you now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you for that. But other than that, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to send this link to on the chat now for everyone. If you can just do me a favor, click on the search link that I'm going to share now and see if maybe you have access. But I am going to send a link that will be, you know, embedded within the library website for future use.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
This is the link that you shared recently when the renewal was done. So how come it is different from what you have?
Okay, I don't know which link was. I think the link that was shared with you is the one that I've just shared on the chat now. But because remember what the first point that I made in terms of access, what we do for each institution, we look at, you know, what is the best solution in terms of ensuring that you don't share the link to all the users, but you give them a platform where they can just click on EBSCOhost and have access. Then we default the link with your authentication methods. The two authentication methods that we are using now is the username and password, as well as the IP range. So this is the IP range that was provided to us that ensures that everyone who is working within the University of Rwanda's network, they can just click on EBSCOhost and have access. So those are the things that we'll have to look, and the link that I promised then that we will share with you should be able to give you that information. So someone is asking, what is the username and password? I am going to share that information again with everyone on this on the line. So please use this for username. And for password, use this one for the purpose of this. But the link with updated defaults will be sent, and the library will update it in the library website for everyone's interest.
Thank you for that. But then I have a question. Can we not, because we shared the IP for the discover for EZ proxy?
Yes.
Able to also authenticate us through the EZ proxy, because that link was also shared.
Correct. So that is what I said, that after this session, I am going to be able then to go back to what was shared, why is it breaking, what can be fixed, and then we'll send you a link that will update the one that you have currently.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Thanks.
So because what we give you should also allow, depending on the EZ proxy, on the type of authentication that we are using, it should allow then when the students I'm just making an example with the student, when they are off campus, it will, when they click on EBSCOhost, it will land on that page where they need to authenticate with the student name, student number and password, and then it will give them access to EBSCOhost platform. Yes, the link will be sorted out. I've noted that, and we will share the link. All right, as I was saying then, in terms of your search, and I was just demonstrating on what are the limiters that are available and what they mean. Now, because as part of your databases, let me just show you what you are subscribing to now. You are subscribing to, you know, this database, the consumer medication information. You are subscribing to communication and mass media complete, your Medline, which is more like your nursing or medical database, your academic search, which is a multidisciplinary resource where then everyone, whether you are law, IT, you know, from any faculty, economics, they'll be able to use the same content within this database because it is cut across multidisciplinary. You will also subscribe to Health Source, ERIC, which is an educational database, your Business Source, which is everything that is related to business. Now, because now you have access to Medline, which is a medical database, for some searches where then you need a profiling of age group or gender of the information that you are searching for. Let's say now, if I was looking at this eating disorder, but I want to look at teenagers or maybe adults of a certain age, this database gives you an additional limiters, which is age and gender. But all of these other limiters, they will be applicable to all the other databases that I've just showed you earlier. Now, for all the medical or nursing students then, or researchers, if then they want to use an age limiter, then they can select from these already populated age groups, and they can also select a gender limiter if they wish to do so. And why am I showing these? These are important to know because if you have a search that is either gender, age specific or geographic specific and so on, it is also important to know what limiters are already available. What can I apply to ensure that I get the best results of what I'm looking for? Okay, other limiters such as the source type, this one is where does this information come from? So our content it consists of articles from academic journals, conference papers, newspapers, thesis and dissertation, book chapters, and so on. So here you are able to specify to say, actually, I'm looking for academic journals. So you can also just apply that limiter there. Subject or indexing. I spoke about this earlier when I showed you this feature that is available here. But in each and every search, you have an ability to look at your search strategy. Mine, I was looking for information on eating disorders, but I wanted to exclude bulimia as part of my search. On this subject, then it takes your search strategy and gives you sub-topics or indexing that is related to what you are looking for. So in this case, do I want to look under information on eating disorders, but do I want to focus on anorexia or binge eating disorder, feeding behavior, and so on? If then I would like to select from these indexing terms, I can select one here on the left side. If I would like to combine more than one, you click on show more, this window will pop up and I can select as many of these search strategies as I want. Again, the more you select or the more you add, the lesser, much more focused results that you will populate. These are sorted by hit count, but if I would like to view these in an alphabetical order, you just click on name, and now you can browse through and you can select as many keywords as you wish. You can update your results. Now I am looking at much more lesser results that are focused on the subject areas of that I've selected. Other limiters is your publisher. So from which publishing house do you want to look at? Wiley Resources, and Francis, and so on, or publication from which journal this information is coming from. If again your search is language specific, this should be the first limiter that you apply, and you can also select from, like I mentioned, the age and gender limiters as well. So I'm just going to limit myself to adolescents. Now I am looking at results that are much more focused on the limiters that I've applied. If you pay attention then to the left-hand side, this box here, it keeps track of all the limiters that I've applied. I started my search here, and these are the limiters that I've applied. So I can always keep track of, how I arrived at these results that I'm viewing, and you can always go back and edit or remove some of these limiters and add some as you go along. Okay. Well, thank you for the feedbacks that now you access, but we'll ensure that it is loaded within the library page to ensure that you don't have to remember the username and password. Okay. Let's look then at these 17 results. How can I then browse through and ensure that the resource has the information that I'm looking for? If you pay attention to the article itself, the limiters that I applied, they are highlighted in bold. I wanted female and I wanted this age group. And one of the limiters that I've applied or indexing keyword that I've applied was feeding behavior and binge eating disorder. So these are highlighted to say this article focuses on these subjects areas. And as you can look at the next one as well as the next one. So it highlights in bold the limiters that we've applied. But if you look on this magnifying glass, if you hover your mouse on top of the magnifying glass, it allows you then to view a full abstract of this article. And this can assist me to determine whether it has the information that I'm looking for or not. If I like this article, I can click on the PDF and read through the article. Or else I can just add it into my folder. So if I'm adding to my folder and I'm not signed in, I'm adding it into this session folder. The moment I close that browser, everything that was saved under that folder, because it's not linked to a person, that information will disappear. Our full text then in terms of EBSCO is available in both PDF as well as HTML. The difference between these two formats is that this is just a normal PDF where the content appears as exactly as it appears on the text, on the print article. But with your HTML, it has other additional functionalities such as text-to-speech and your translate functionalities. I'm going to demonstrate on those. For the purpose of this demonstration, I am not going to open the actual PDF, but I'm just going to take you through the longer route because I want to demonstrate other additional tools that are available to enhance your research. Here you can see the full bibliographic record of this article. And on the left-hand side, you still have your full text access. But on the right-hand side, that is where I would like us to focus our attention for just a bit. Other tools then that are available is that you can add this into your Google Drive. So that is the cloud that we are currently supporting. You can add or remove this from your folder. You may print if you connect it to a printer, but be mindful that when you are printing on this page, you are not printing the actual full text. When you need to print the full text, you need to open it. You may also share this resource with someone else by just clicking on email, and you can email this one resource to either yourself or the other recipient. So if I'm emailing this to myself, I can add someone else as well. All you need to do is that all the recipients, you need to separate their email addresses with a semicolon. You may add something on the subject lines as well as the comments if you wish to do so. Now, we haven't opened the actual article, but it is attached by default, and this is instant. So the moment I click on send, this is now added into it is sent into the email addresses of the recipients that you've added. You may also save into your local drive for research purposes as well. If you would like a bibliographic reference for this individual resource, you are welcome to click on Cite. We support 9 different citation formats. Harvard is one of them, API, MAI, so you can copy from any one of these on the list and paste it into your paper. But for research purposes, we know that we have other tools that are ensuring that that process is easier for the researcher, such as linking to your Mendeley, your Zotero, your RefWorks, or EndNote, depending on what you are using. If, however, you are copying this as is, we advise that you pay attention to ensure that it is linked to your guide, your library guide, or your NIP guides, or how your lecturers advise that you should use your reference, your referencing. Other than that, you can also export into your ref managers. And the benefit of doing exporting is that you get the bibliography, you get the article into you're easy to manage it into your work, as well as your in-text referencing. So we support all the RAS format, which includes Mendeley, EndNote, Zotero, and as well as your RefWorks there, and any of these ones that are listed on this list here. So you can select from any of these ones. I am using Mendeley, and now what it does, it populates it into your account and under your Mendeley. And if you have the web, that widget in your web, in your work, in your Word, Microsoft Word, and then you can be able to also link your work between your EBSCOhost, your reference manager, and as well as your research. So it makes it easier to manage your work. Now, another important feature that I would like to talk about on these tools that are available here is how then lecturers can ensure that if they want to use this article as part of their reading list for their module, they link it properly for easy access for the users and ensuring that the library resources are being used at any given time. What we advise that you do is you click on the permalink. The permalink will already be defaulted with the access model. So all those links that we're talking about now, that is linking you to that dead end page, will be resolved. So when you copy this link, you paste it in your Moodle. Every time students click on the link, they are redirected to your library EBSCOhost page, and now they can access the actual article that the lecturer wants them to read. So it also ensures that you don't infringe on the copyright. And for the library, it also gives them a benefit for them to be able to track or trace the usage of the articles in the classrooms, because for them to get value or to be able to assess value in terms of what they spend and they use internally, the usage statistics will be one of the valuable element of ensuring that they are able to give that analysis. And now, if, for instance, a lecturer downloads a PDF, which is good, they upload the actual PDF into Moodle. And let's make an example that maybe there are 50 students in that class. And those 50 students, they use the same article multiple times. For the library, however, this usage will not be counted. They will not, they will not be accountable, because the PDF was already outside of where the parameters where the library will be able to check that usage. So we, ask the lecturers or the academic staff to always link with the with the permalink in the learning management portal. I don't know whether that makes sense. As well, if there are any questions at this stage.
Can you please go over it again, please?
Okay, I was saying then, in an instant where lecturers would like to use some of the resources within EBSCOhost, what we advise.
Sorry, can you start? Sorry, can you start from taking the link to the learning management system?
Yes.
And then so that you can you can make it back it up better, and then slowly so people can follow.
Okay, thank you. So this is an article a lecturer would like to use or recommend to the students to say, read this article for the next lecture or whatever the reason may be. And you already have Moodle where students will access all the recommended reading material from their lecture. What we advise them that they should do, instead of downloading a PDF, they should always look for this permalink under tools. When they click on the permalink, this is a permanent unbreakable link. All they need to do is just to copy this and paste it on the web link into their Moodle under their module. So this will ensure that every time when the students click on the link, the library or the university, you are not infringing on the copyright. And secondly, for the library, they will be able to see the true reflection of the usage of that resource because the link is redirecting back to the library databases. And by the end of the month, the library will be able to show value to say, these resources were used so many times. This is how many downloads that were performed. And that is also linked to budgeting and also to showing the value that the library is adding into the academic program of the university. I don't know whether that explanation, maybe it makes sense.
It does, yes, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So yes, now you can open your resource, but remember, often researchers will not even open this page, the one that I was previously demonstrating. However, the tools that I was demonstrating, they're still available here. Even if they just go directly to the full text, they'll still be able to, access the permalink, the citation, the export managers, and so on the right-hand side here. On the left-hand side, it also demonstrates that the article that I'm viewing here, it is highlighted in bold. It comes from this journal. This is the issue number. But if I'm interested to view other issues of the same journal as well, of the same journal, I can also access it on the left-hand side. Now, you can download the actual article and save it wherever you want to save it in your computer. You may print, if you're connected to a printer, you can bookmark pages, you can navigate this article, you can read through it. And as you can see, the actual content is very clear, the PDF content. So that is how easy it is to browse, apply your limiters, use the tools that are available, and access the articles of choice. If you would like to go back to the results, never ever use the back button of the browser there, because by doing so, you're going to lose other steps of the limiters that you've applied. Always use this result list. This will take you just one step back and you'll be able then to access the resource. I spoke a bit about the HTML. So the HTML, over and above everything that I've explained, is that it's also ideal for people that are visually impaired, or it's also ideal for people that would like to translate this article from language of origin, which is English at this instant, in any of these languages that are available here. So again, if I would like to read this in French, which I'm not fluent in, so you can just translate, and the translation is instant. Now I can be able to enjoy this resource in the language of choice, and the translation back to language of origin as well is instant. So as you can see now, I can read this in the language of choice. And in addition to that, you have this text to speech for people that are able to multitask, or they would like to download this into their mobile devices, or they, for any other reason, or for those visually impaired individuals, then they can be able to listen to this article. You have 3 different accents that you can use, or you can even download this into an MP3. So it makes it easy to navigate. However, another exciting thing, on the mobile app that I said, it's called EBSCO Mobile, that you can download, all the articles, including PDF and HTML, they have an ability for text to speech. So if you're reading through EBSCO in your mobile device, you can have this feature for not only HTML, but for all resources. Okay, Other things that I would like to also talk about is this button here, the share button. Oh, I think before I go to the share button, I spoke about signing in. As you have seen now, I'm able to use the resource without signing in, but there are other features where then the database will remind you to say, for you to store this resource, you need to sign in. One of them is when you would like to set up an alert. If I go to my share button now, there are a number of features that are available here, but one of them is alerts. What does this mean? I said your alerts is when you are setting a notification so that if, for instance, this is my topic of interest, or I'm teaching on this, or I'm doing my postgraduate on this topic, instead of searching for this all the time, I can do this search strategy once, set up an alert. Whenever there's new content added, then I will receive that information into my email address. Now, this is again where it will say sign in if you would like to store this for future use, or you can use that sign in tab that is available on the top left right corner. Now, to sign in, you've got two ways on how you can do it if you've never done it before. One, you can create an account. Creating an account, I'm just going to open this on a new page. You fill in your personal details, your valid email address, and you give yourself a username. Your password should follow, this sequence. A secret question, just in case you forget your username or your password, as well as you give consent. And the consent is important, is that University of Rwanda, as well as EBSCO, we are not going to use the end user's personal details for any other reason except for, for the EBSCO platform. And once you have done that, you sign in with the username and password that you've just created here. If you already have it, then this is where you can use it. Alternatively, you can use your existing Gmail. You can sign in with your Gmail access, or create a Gmail account. This is my personal favorite because it means one less username, one less password for me to remember, because I can just sign in with this. And importantly, when you sign in with your Gmail address, that is this authentication that you also use in your mobile app. And with the username and password, that is the authentication that you also use in your mobile app to authenticate you back to University of Rwanda. So it's important for, for off-campus access, or for the app, because it's not sitting within your network, to use that username and password. I don't know whether that makes sense. But when I send this recording, I'm also just going to send guides on how to create your personal accounts. I'd like to also look into that further. Now, what I wanted to demonstrate was to create an alert. So once you've created, click on the alert, and now I've signed in, I can add my email address, or the email address of people that I'm creating this alert for. In the library environment, I may be a subject librarian or faculty librarian, and I've identified in that department, this is the information that people are interested in, and I can search for this information, add the email addresses of these people that I'm adding in this current awareness. So whenever then there's new content, they will receive it in their email addresses. Frequency, how often do you want to see this information? Again, this will depend on the intensity of your research. But I advise that under your result format, always choose the detailed results, because when you click on the alert, it will also give you the full abstract and that full bibliographic information that will assist you to determine whether you need that information or not faster. Under this share button as well, there are other additional tools. One of them is I can save this search. I'm saving what I've typed in here and all the limiters that I've applied into my folder by clicking on Add Search to Folder. Why this may be necessary. If, for instance, I'm just going to make an example with, if I'm working within the library and I'm supporting first-year students for a certain module. Often, when students are given an assignment, when it's due, maybe like they still have about 2 weeks and so on to work on their assignments, they don't give it much attention, most of them. But when it's due in 2 days' time or tomorrow, that is when they'll flock into the library or they'll ask assistant to say, I'm looking for this article, I'm looking for this information. Now, as that librarian, if you save the searches of the information that these students will need, that means you are not overloaded with work, because at least now you've got searches that or they already work, then you can just direct and show them from that existing information. And for a researcher, if it's something that you search for regularly, save it and under your folder. Other features that are available again under the share button is, I showed you that you can save an individual article into your folder by clicking on in this plus sign here. But if you want to save all the results that you are viewing on the first page, all you need to do is click on share results. So now I'm saving all these 17 results into my personal folder. And lastly, if you'd like to share all these 17 results by link, that permalink that we spoke about earlier, you can just copy this permalink and share either in the email address or send to someone. When they click on the link, they'll see exactly the 17 results and all the limiters that you've applied, so they can also work on that search for themselves if they wish to do so. So that is how then you can utilize the share button underneath there. Any questions? Okay. So what I would like to also highlight is, if, for instance, you are looking for that subject that I spoke about earlier, how it works. In this example, I'm looking for information on chemical dependence. And I've selected the academic search premier subject terms or the indexing of that particular database. And when I type in my keyword here, what this will do in the database, it will show me to say, using chemical dependence, use substance abuse. So if I click on the substance abuse term, it further gives me what is the scope note. What do we mean about substance abuse or chemical dependence? What are the broader terms? What are the narrower terms? What are the related terms? So it gives you a full hierarchy of where this keyword derives from. Broader terms is addiction. The narrower terms, they are listed there. What are the related terms and what is it used for? So that means everything that is in hyperlinked, those are the control vocabulary of the library. What is the benefit of this? Now, if I was a student, instead of just focusing on either print books or articles, I'm sorry about what if you can see what I'm writing on my screen there. If, for instance, I was then looking for doing an assignment on this chemical dependence, now I already have another keyword, substance abuse, and here I have a full hierarchy of where this keyword comes from. The benefit is I can select the keywords that I would like to focus on. So in this case, I'm selecting binge drinking. I'm also selecting drug abuse. I can select as many. Again, the more you select, the lesser, much more focused results. Or you can explode. By exploding, you are searching under all the keywords, like your broader, narrower related terms, and so on. Now, to populate this information from your indexing back to the normal database search there, you can use your Boolean operators there and click on add. Now, these keywords are pulled back to your database, and you can apply your search strategy and your limiters and so on as applicable. So that is how you can use that subject terms there. Your publication, if you are looking for a specific journal, is it available here? What is the coverage? So if I was looking for Harvard Business Review, I can search for the journal here. I'm using the Business Source Premier database, and it is available. And the coverage is from 1922. You have full text from then up to present. and you can access full text in both of these formats. But if you look at the next example, these you do have access, but you don't have full text access. You only have a bibliography or the indexing or summary of the articles published in those journals. So that is why it's important. If there were any embargoes as well, this is where you'll be able to demonstrate. Before we click on Harvard Business Review, another benefit of doing this, because it is impossible for always knowing which journal you're looking for. Sometimes you'll say, actually, I'm looking for any journal that covers economics. So in that case, you can just type in economics and default to by subject and description and browse. By doing so, then the database will populate all the journals that covers that particular subject. And then you can select from the journals to say, okay, I want this to read this Journal of Applied Economics, or I would like to set an alert for this. Again, if there are any embargoes, as you can see here, you do have access to review of economics and statistics, but there is a 12-year embargo and so on. So it's very useful to look under, your publication, either to find the journal of interest or to set up alerts. Setting up alerts as well is easy because you can just click on the journal itself and there is a share button. So wherever there's share button, that means there are those additional functionalities where you can set up alerts or you can share the permalink of this journal with others. But additional information that is available here is frequency. How often is it published? Is it peer reviewed or not? And other information as well pertaining to this data, the journal, and the description of what type of content is covered. If you click on the plus sign of the year, it will further default and show you, or it will collapse and show you the issues that form part of this. So if you were reading a book and they made a reference on this particular journal of 2012 issue 43, volume 43, issue 3, then you can access it directly from here and find the article. That's another way of using that. So any questions?
Thank you, Madrisa. The question I have is to do with the when does one use what? When do I use subject? When do I use publications? Because sometimes it depends if someone wants something broadly.
Yes.
Can you throw some light there to say if you're just starting to explore a subject, better to start from here? But if maybe you are you want really specialized research, and then, so that can help for people to know how to move from general to specific. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for raising that. And it's important. What we do is just to show you, the different functionalities, and they may not be applicable, all of them. It's impossible for one single search, but it's always great to know what to use, how to use it when you need it. Okay, so while we are still on those features and everything else, I mentioned that there are certain, there's a hand raised by
yes,
yes.
In fact, I appreciate this session. Lyric is very important. It's very important for last academic. And maybe mine is not, it's not a question, rather it's a suggestion or a request. It's a practical work. It needs practice. We need it to practice, and then we ask.
Correct.
I don't know if we shall get that time of practicing, and later you can help us maybe to clarify the challenges we shall find when we are practicing.
Okay, I didn't get the last part. You were saying maybe?
We need the time to practice this.
Oh, yes.
And thereafter, we can have another session of maybe raising the challenges we met during the practice.
Okay.
This is very
Yes, I fully agree with you. So what we do is we provide these towards the end of the session. We provide these customized session for you as an institution. So we can also maybe schedule another one, maybe after 3 months or so, I don't know, depending on the need. And we will be alerted by, the library to say, okay, when should we arrange another session? But in addition, I'm going to show you where you can find more tutorials and other information where an individual from a student to a lecturer, everyone who's using these resources, where they can find more useful information that they can learn on their own, and also sign up for our training. We run training sessions on a daily basis at EBSCO. So you can sign up for any session of interest, or you can send us, also, through your library, questions of clarity or anything that arises after this training as well. So there's a lot of help that will come, but I truly agree with what you've suggested, that it is a practical information that you need to, apply your own research, because what we are interested in, it's different. So once you apply your own searches, use whether you find the information or not, then your questions will also arise from that. Someone is asking if it's possible to use EBSCOhost outside of your institution. Yes. If Dr. Robina said you do have proxy. So if you're off campus, EBSCOhost will hit on that proxy page. So once you authenticate, if you are a registered student, are you a staff member, you are affiliated to the institution, then that will give you access to EBSCOhost even if you are off campus. So when you are signing in, yes, you can use your personal email address. For us as EBSCO, it doesn't really matter whether you are using your Gmail access or you are using your university email address, as long as it is a valid email address. But some institutions, through their LEAP guides, they advise users to say only use an institutional email address. So again, those are internal decisions. Oh, yes, I agree with that, Paul. When I hear, I forget. But when I see, I remember. So, yes, I agree with that. Thank you. Okay. So just as a highlight as well, I think I demonstrated on how you can use your Boolean operators. There are other features, but when I send this recording, I'm also going to send links on where you can find these, I call them cheat tags, where if you know exactly the specific information that you are looking for, there are certain tags that you can use. For instance, let me just gonna use an example with this now. I'm looking for information on nursing care, but I want this information that is published in Rwanda. So by using the GE in capital letters, I'm instructing the database to say, give me this, it's a geographic tag. So give me information that is published, around this area that I've shared. So there are over 3,000 results on nursing care, mentioning Rwanda as part of that article. So those are some of the things that you can use. And some, if you are looking for full text articles, or if you are looking for, only the HTML articles. So there are a lot of different tags that you can use, but I am going to share the links of where you can find all of those, and what may be applicable in your searches is good to know. And also to save yourself time, because instead of like searching for nursing care and applying all these different limiters, if you are looking for a specific geographic area, you can use an and in that area, but the GE is much more specific because it will look for Rwanda both on the title of the articles as well as within the in-text referencing of the articles. Okay. So I also mentioned about company profiles. So this is applicable mostly for your business students, and they can find these articles of choice here. Let's say maybe I'm looking for information on Apple. Is it available within this database? It is available. It's a technology company. They're based in the United States. And we get the report from a company called MarketLine, and we update the information on an annual basis. So you can click on the actual link of the company. This is the type of information that you will access. So where they're based, the abstract, which will have some financial information there, and the product and services that they are provide. And again, this is, you can cite it, you can permalink if you wish to do so, but the actual report, it has other additional information, it is an actual report, sorry, where you can be able to access the full report. And the benefit of this is that some of the information that is available here is not available on the open web, because companies, they keep this, their information, that is part of their reports, for the internal use only. But MarketLine, we have a contract with them to make available, certain information for purposes of research for all those listed companies. And as here on the first page, you'll be able to see when last this was updated. So this is was updated like less than a month ago, 21st of February. Now, in the table of contents, you'll also be able to see some companies, even SWOT analysis. No one wants to expose their opportunities or their threats, but these content is available here as part of this research. And the researchers, they can go into details by reading through this information here as part of this article. And the table of content is more interactive. So if I want to view, who's in the board of directors, then I'll be able to click on the key employees. You can browse through this information again. You can download it, you may print it, you may cite, you may link. So this is part of the research that you have access to. I think we are nearing the end of the session now. What I would like to highlight is I encourage that you set up your folder. Once you've created your personal folder, there's other additional help that is available, or features to enhance your research, such as those articles that I added were sitting under my folder there. And the searches that I've saved, they sit under the persistent links. And the one that I've saved now is this one, the eating disorder. So if I want to rerun this search, I can either copy this link, paste it in the browser, and I'll be able to see the latest information available. And if you have any alerts as well, like your search alerts, if you don't need the alert anymore, maybe you've submitted your paper, you've passed with cum laude, yay, now you are graduating, then you can just clear your folder by just selecting the folder there and deleting. Or you can also edit your folder and add other recipients. So there's a lot that you can do to manage your own information there. But what I would like to highlight now is managing your research. So it is likely that people are not working on just one research. You may be finding some articles for your literature review, some for your chapter 3, or whatever your case you are doing, or you are doing a project for your employer if you are working. If you are a student, you've got 5 different modules that you've registered, and each one of them has an assignment. So you have this My Custom where you can customize your folders. Now, what does this mean? If I click on the new folder now, I'm just gonna name this and say, and I'm doing an assignment on business ethics. And I've sourced the articles that I would like to use. now I want to save them under my personal folder. Now, if I click on the plus sign, there are these folders that I've created. So it makes it easier to manage my information and share my folders accordingly to, to which folder do I want to place this information under. If you go to your folders as well, you can share your folders with other people. But if, for instance, we are students, we are working in a group, and we can create a folder where we can collaborate. But when you are sharing with someone, they will be able to see the contents that you've added in your folder, but they won't be able to delete or add any content into your folder. And whatever is shared with you, these two heads or figures here, they will swap around. So that means if the blue man is on the left-hand side, it's a folder that I've shared with someone else. If the red man is on the left-hand side, it's a folder that is shared with me. So it's easy to identify this information. So I can share the content of this folder with other people. I can add the email addresses of the people that I'm sharing the folder with. And so there it is, I'm inviting them to view the content of my folder. And while you are working within your folders as well, it makes it easy to manage or share your information around, because now you can copy and move your articles around, or you can, delete them. I spoke about exporting a single resource, which I've already demonstrated, but importantly, exporting bulk resources. Now, I've created this folder for my literature review. Now, I would like to select all of them. Okay, I'm selecting all 50 of these resources. And I click on export. And now I can export all of them. You can export up to 2,500 resources at a given time into your Mendeley EndNote or any of these resources that are available. Same applies with emailing. So I can email one resource or bulk resources to other people by selecting here an email, and you can add the email addresses of the people that you are emailing to. But remember, if you are emailing in bulk, it will send a single email for each and every article. If you do remove, though, the PDF attachment, because the sizes of people's what your IT allows you, the size of the files may differ. So that is why then we send individual email. But if you remove the PDF attachments, you send with the full PDF attachments, but in a link format, in a hyperlink, then the end user will have to click on the link to access the actual PDF. So I think for now, let me take a breather and open again if maybe there are any questions or comments before we close.
Hello?
Yes.
May I say something?
Yes, please.
My name is Paul. I would like to reiterate the saying that when I hear, I forget, when I see, I can remember, but when I do, I understand. But I'm saying this to overstate the need of a workshop that is more practical,
yes,
so that we can be able to do, because we understand. It is clear, and personally I appreciate. But what I need is maybe a workshop that is more practical for us maybe to practice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I don't know whether, Dr. Robina, whether it's something that can be facilitated internally. Unfortunately, with the COVID pandemic now, yes.
Can I come in? So what we are going to do after this, because this was like the way to interest our users to know what we have and what possibilities are available. Then these will be cascaded in our campuses, and the practical sessions will be done. to ensure that people can have more hands-on. So follow-on trainings are going to be planned. And in case we need maybe further input from research, we'll call upon you. But this is going to be cascaded afterwards. Yeah.
And there was another session that can you use the link that I've provided? Then you can use the link in the meantime that I've provided with the username and password. But ideally, I think for the library as well, for control purposes, because people come and go. So that is why then when the link is added into one of the resources of the library, it's easy to control because everyone who has access to this page is affiliated to the institution, either as a registered student or as a staff member. So advisable going forward, then you'll have to access EBSCOhost under your research support, under your search and find link there. But that one is working for now. And what we do is that with the password, we give the library administrator access to be able to manage the password. It expires at a certain time so that people that had the username and password and they're no longer part of the institution, their access is cut off. So I think then that is why I say advisable going forward, maybe after, let's give it until Friday, then everything is sorted out in a sense that this link is not leading you to that dead end, then you'll be able to access here, but that link is active. There is another question. EBSCO resources based, some artificial can be found here. Yes. Okay. So going back to that's you're asking really great questions, all of you. So here, if you look at what the university is subscribing to, yes, it's discipline and subject based. And when I was explaining here, like your academic search, it covers everything, like all the different disciplines. But Medline, it's more on the medical, in the nursing or medical. So if you look under this tab here, the choose database, if you click on that, and if you hover your mouse on this yellow tab, you'll be able to see what that database covers. So this is, your medical information on medicine, nursing, dentistry, veterinary medicine, and so on and so on. If you look under your business database, so this will give you more information as well on what subjects are covered, accounting, finance, management, MIS, and so on. So all of these. So, but what we do and what your library has done, they have selected all of these to make it easier for everyone. When you're searching on the EBSCOhost, you are searching under everything that they subscribe to. So I don't know whether I've answered everyone's questions accordingly. All right. So while we're waiting for maybe if there are any additional questions or comments, what I would like to also highlight at any given time, agreeing with Paul again, is that when you do this on your own, you will understand it more better, is that we provide you with the help functionality under this tab here. When you click on help, it opens on the new page. And this is where you'll be able to find all our frequently asked questions, and as well as the help tools and the user guides. Our tutorials are available on the link that is available there. So you can access our tutorials, or you can access our EBSCO Academy. This is where you can sign up for courses, access recorded videos that we've placed on the EBSCO Academy and so on. But let's start here. If I click, for instance, I want an advanced session on EBSCOhost, I can follow this guided search on, step number 1, this is what I need to do, step number 2, and so on. So this is able to guide you and explains exactly what you need to do. Alternatively, you can click on this green bar. So whenever you see the green bar, it is a video or a PowerPoint presentation that any user, like from a library point of view, as well as from the end user, you can be able to access these tutorials as well. So it is available in a PowerPoint presentation that is editable. It's very difficult sometimes to follow a PowerPoint presentation that is not designed by you. But this one, it's easy because each and every slide, we do put a transcript just to explain what is happening on that particular slide. For the library as well, if you want to use this as part of your training, you can download, customize them according to your needs. And secondly, you can just watch this video. So the videos are very short and direct. They're available on both YouTube as Vimeo as well. And as you can see, this one is just less than 3 minutes. And then this will give you a tutorial on exactly what you need to do in terms of this session. So these are ideal for internal use or for individual use in terms of the end user. While you're on this page though, on the EBSCO Connect, it is also advisable that you sign in, create your account here, because this will give you access where you can, access videos. You can watch videos like by, different subjects or that we've recorded. You can sign up for learning parts within EBSCO where you say, okay, I want to take an EBSCOhost course. It takes me an hour and a half to complete, but you can do it at your own spare time and you get a certificate after you've completed, more like a certificate of attendance. Or you can sign up for any of the training sessions that we host. We host training sessions like globally to accommodate people, EBSCO users like from different time zones. The one that I run is under Africa, but you are welcome to explore other regions as well. And you can sign up for any session. So these sessions, they run for, from 15 minutes to an hour, depending on what is being covered that day. And you can sign up for any of these sessions. It's applicable for both end users as well as the library. So you are free, you are welcome to use any of these materials that we've offered as part of it. So I think for now, let me hang there. Any questions? My side, I would like to thank everyone for attending this session with me this afternoon. Hope it was useful to you. So what I'm going to do is I am sharing a link now, which is an evaluation link. We really appreciate your feedback. I have shared the link on the search tab. So please, if you can just click on that link, it takes about a minute to give feedback on how this session was. Would really appreciate that. Like Dr. Robina said, that this is the beginning of many, other support that the library and as an institution will provide to everyone, as well as EBSCO, whenever we are, required to provide this session or similar sessions or answer questions that may arise as well. We will be available to arrange another session, or we will avail ourselves. As promised, I will send a link then to Dr. Robina, and thank you so much, everyone, for your time.
Yeah, we thank you very much, everybody. First and foremost, allow me on behalf of the Rwanda. So
I am mute everyone as well. It's gonna mute you, Dr. Rubina. Please just unmute yourself again because there's some noise coming in.
oh, so sorry.
Thank you.
I was saying that on behalf of the University of Rwanda, I want to thank EBSCOhost and Mandrisa specifically for spending time to introduce to us and even enhance other features of EBSCOhost that are going to improve our search experience at the University of Rwanda. I want to thank the participants. I've seen we've been a total of 51 participants. That is really, really commendable. And we want to have a list of participants. And I want to assure you that you will be the first group that will have the hands-on training before we can interest others that have not been able to come. And you will be part of the trainers because we normally use this model of training of trainers. So in that hands-on, we shall all be trainers and trainees at the same time and learning from each other. We shall then cascade these trainings to all our campuses. So I want to thank you very much indeed for turning up despite the busy schedule. There are so many meetings going on, but we thank you very much. Doctors, professors, librarians, and all other staff that have participated. Allow me also to heartily thank Dr. Noeda, the Director of the Center for Postgraduate Studies, who has done the coordination on the part of academic staff. Noela, thank you very much indeed. Also, Dr. Wamwezi, who has done the coordination on the part of the library staff. And we hope and trust that next time when you're called upon, you still respond and come over. Thank you very much indeed, and be blessed.
Thank you.
And the recording will be made available. Have a lovely afternoon.